Okay.
Okay, welcome everybody to the 530 Media Project. If you haven't been here before, the 530 Media Project is a joint venture between the Record Searchlight and West Coast Innovations. West Coast is this facility here, and they're hosting us, and of course, you know, the Record Searchlight. I'm Michelle Rogers. I'm going to be one of your presenters, and I'm kind of the leader of the 530 Media Project, which we launched in February. And Sean Longoria is the online producer at Reading.com. He's going to co-present. And I want to introduce you to Brett Christensen. He is the marketing director here.
Yeah. So just on behalf of West Coast Innovations, just wanted to welcome everybody to our facility. And if you need anything while you're here, my office is just right over there. Come grab me. Hopefully you notice there's water in the back, and the restrooms are that direction back in the corner. So if there's anything we can do to help while you're here, yeah, we're just a full-service marketing company, from branding to web production, video production. So if there's anything after tonight that you need help with, have questions about video production, we can be happy to help you with that as well. So, all right, great. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll let Sean take it away.
Hi everyone. How y'all doing? Good.
Good.
So Michelle said I'm an online producer. Might be wondering what that means. It means a lot of stuff, but one of the parts of my job is to help our reporters with our video tools, how to edit video, where they should put their videos, and basic video techniques. So that's why I'm here. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. We'll talk about some tools for video. Michelle will talk about the channels and do a bit about editing, and we'll help you out and take any questions you have. So let's talk about what you need to do video. You need a camera, obviously. You got a couple options. If you have a point and shoot or a DSLR, that's the fancy one with the lenses you can replace. Most of those have video modes, especially the newer modern cameras. They all pretty much have video modes. These kind of cameras are good to use because they're easy to work with. If you can take a photo, you can shoot a video. The video files they output are easy to work with in most editors. Some of the bad side, you get some limited compatibility with audio equipment. Gets a little awkward to do this the whole time you're shooting video with a camera. And the really nice cameras are really expensive, but you're going to find that with most of your options. Another option is a camcorder. That's that little second guy right there. These guys are dedicated to video. They usually have better zoom options, a little better optics, and they're a lot easier to hold. However, you get into that downside. If you're going for a good piece of equipment, you're going to be spending a lot of money, and it will be confusing to use. Now, an option you all probably have is a smartphone. A good chunk of the videos you see on Reading.com and have seen in the past were shot using a smartphone. Now the great thing about smartphones is the cameras always get better. They get better and better and better every time a new batch of smartphones is released. You can carry them in your pockets, they're easy to use, and you can share your files pretty much immediately anywhere you need to share them. Some of the bad sides of smartphone video is there's no optical zoom. What that means is your camera lens isn't actually moving closer to the picture. Smartphones have digital zoom, which means you're just blowing up the picture that's already there. So if you've ever zoomed in on your smartphone camera, you notice the picture gets grained. So that really degrades the quality. There's also the scourge of vertical video. If you ever seen a video shot by someone holding their phone like this, you get the big black bars on either side. With rare exception, most of the time you shoot a smartphone video, please do this. And sound. You can use microphones, and we'll talk about microphones in a second, with smartphones, but if you're just shooting from your smartphone, you might run into some sound issues. There are other options for cameras too. A couple years back they had a little thing called a flip video camera. I had one of those. It was a little square, maybe about this big. It was just a little point and shoot camera basically, and the side of it flipped up so you could plug it into your computer and transfer the files. If you still have one of those around, keep it. It might be worth some money because the company went out of business. but they shot, you know, usable video. Actually, one of the examples we have was shot using flip video. So, when you're using your camera, how do you want to use it? There is something called the rule of thirds on when you're shooting video or taking photos even. Basically, you take your viewfinder, divide it into thirds, horizontally and vertically, and you can see the intersections in that top photo where the bee is. Basically, you want to put your points of interest where the lines intersect. Now, it's called a rule, but you can always break rules. You should have good reason to do so, though. So if you see, we've all seen those pictures of celebrities in magazines where they get really tight on their face and they're basically in the center, showing you what they actually look like. That'd be a good time to break the rule. It's mostly up to your eye. You can make the rule of thirds a lot easier for you to work with. Pretty much any camera you get, including your smartphone, will let you put a grid on the screen that's just that little checker pattern there.
Sean, can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
Sorry. Someone from home is saying it's hard to hear, so maybe if we project louder, it would help.
Okay.
Or I don't know if there's anything I can do otherwise.
I'll just try to project louder.
Okay.
So, another rule you want to follow when you're shooting video, dive into your camera settings or your phone settings, and make sure your video resolution is set to the highest possible. Really, you want to be shooting at 1080p, which is pretty much the standard. If you have a flat screen TV, it's probably a 1080p TV. 1080p refers to the height of the video in pixels. Again, won't go more technical than that. 1080p should be standard on most of the newer cameras and phones you buy and use right out of the box. Some of the newer phones and cameras have something crazy called 4K or Ultra HD. You don't really need to bother with that. You'd have to dive into your settings menu and enable that anyway, so don't worry about that. The reason we want to shoot at 1080p or the best quality possible is you can't improve that after the fact. So if you go into edits, you go into work with this video, if you have low quality video, there's nothing you can do to make that quality better. So panning is just taking your camera, recording across the scene just like that. And when you do that, you want to keep it slow and steady. You've all probably seen the video where someone does this, and it goes crazy, the video's shaky, you can't see it, gives you motion sickness. So keep it slow and steady. Another big tip, use a tripod whenever you can. You can see here on the iPad, for those of you in the room, that if you use an iPad for video, which you can, there's no rule against that, you run into the same kind of problems you do as a smartphone, but they make attachments that just screw right into the top of your tripod and hold it. They do the same thing for smartphones. They're only like $6 or $7 on Amazon.com. And it's down in bold for a reason. Turn your phone sideways. Again, with rare exception, and Michelle will talk about some of the apps that do vertical video, but with rare exception, you always want to turn your phone sideways. Our eyes don't see like this. Our TVs aren't vertical. We see in widescreen, so we want to recreate that experience whenever possible. So once you have your camera setup going, you want good audio too. If you can see the video and it looks great, that's great, but if you can't hear anything that's going on, that's a no-go. Microphones, we could talk for hours and hours and days about every type of microphone you have and every type of microphone you could use. But the key is how your video sounds. It's at least as important as how it looks. For most cameras, you can get by without an external microphone, but your video is going to sound a lot better if you have one. And when you make that determination, consider your filming environment. Are you in a small little studio? Are you out in the open? Are you in a big room? Also, your need. Is this something that I'm far away from and will need to get closer to hear what's going on, and also your budget. Again, microphones are a big topic. We could spend a lot of time on them. Some microphone options, more inexpensive. If you really want to go crazy, you can spend all your money on microphones. Another area to consider is whether you need a wired microphone or a wireless. Are you far away from someone? You might want to go with a wireless option. Are you close enough to where a wired option would work? And just a couple other things to be aware of when you're thinking about sound and how it relates to your video. If you're in a larger room, you'll probably hear some echo. Whoever's speaking, it will sound a little more hollow. If it's windy out, every microphone will pick up wind, and it will pick up wind a lot. And it will probably ruin your video if you're not somehow prepared to deal with that. A lot of microphones have little fuzzy attachments you can put on top. They're called windscreens. So if you get a microphone, definitely consider getting a windscreen. Aside from winds, you could have other background noise. So for reporters, this comes when we're at a fire or something. We hear the fire trucks. They don't sound as loud to us as they will sound on the video. Because we can select and choose what we pay attention to if we're talking to a firefighter or someone at the scene. But the microphones can't do that. They're going to pick up everything and they're going to pick it up at full volume. So background noise is definitely something to be concerned with. If you run into that problem, consider moving away from the noise. That's probably your best bet. And you also have to think about how many people will be speaking on camera at one time. Is it a situation where they can just pass the mic back and forth, or do I need to mic up a lot of people? The more microphones you get, obviously, the more complicated it's going to be, but that's definitely something you need to keep in mind. After you figure out your video and audio, think about lighting. Now, with almost no exception, you never want to shoot video facing a light source. So if I were to interview someone who's standing right in front of me, the sun would be coming right in. We couldn't see that person's face. If you're going for a silhouette as an arty kind of move, that's fine, but for news video, we don't do that at all. Not intentionally, anyway. Overhead lights, like the lights in this room, will always cast shadows on the faces of whoever you might be interviewing. Might not look like it to us right now, but it will definitely come across more in the video. Whenever is possible, use an external light. And I say whenever possible because sometimes it's not possible. So the external light, you generally want it facing directly at your subject, not so close that it, makes them look like a ghost, but not so far away that it's a little too dark. And that's whenever possible. Sometimes it won't be possible. Sometimes you'll just have to settle for, having the light source facing the person. If you happen to be doing like an in-studio interview, if you've got a little mock situation set up, put some distance between the person you're interviewing and the background. The reason you want to do that is you won't cast big shadows on your background then, which will be noticeable. And I think I will hand it off to Michelle.
Okay. Thank you. All right, were there any questions for Sean on any of those topics?
On the wireless microphones, are they mostly Bluetooth now, or do you use FM, or how do those work?
Depends on the option. You can get Bluetooth microphones. We have a set of Bluetooth microphones that work pretty well. Some of them work over just radio frequencies. It just really depends on the option. So if you want like a handheld microphone, that will be an extra set of equipment to do the wireless.
Right. it seems like everything's going Bluetooth now. That's why I asked.
Yeah, you can definitely get Bluetooth microphones. The way ours work is they plug directly into the phone, and you've got a receiver and a microphone, and that's what communicates over Bluetooth. So it doesn't communicate directly with the Bluetooth on your phone.
Does it communicate via Bluetooth or FM?
Bluetooth.
Transceiver. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So it's two pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's a receiver and then a transmitter. The
Mhm.
transmitter is on a collar mic, probably. And then it's separate, so it's in your phone, and then you carry it somehow
Yeah.
on your person while you're
Yes.
holding your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
pretty
just
neat.
clip it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You guys don't have a copy. You guys don't have that here, do you?
We don't.
We didn't bring it with us, but we've used it. If you've
Sure.
seen any of our Buzz on the Street promo videos,
Yeah,
that's what we're using.
Yeah, that would be a good option, I think, for most of us. Although it's
Yeah.
probably pricey.
Do you know how much it was, Sean?
I don't think it was very expensive. I mean, Amazon.com is going to be the best place to look for all this stuff.
Got it.
I think when I was looking some up, you can get them for about $35-40.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for the quality on any of those, but that's
Right.
one of the price ranges I've seen.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mark?
Where would the microphone go? Would it go in this audio?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does it need to be configured once it's in, or just
Shouldn't need to be.
something?
Yep, you just plug it in, and it'll have like a little cord, so when you're holding the phone, it's still, and then on your lapel, so it'll connect your lapel where you have the clip, the receiver,
Okay.
into the phone, and then you're holding it. So it has that little wire. Any other questions? All right, so I'm going to cover some short form video platforms that I've experimented with, and they're each different, and depending on what kind of audience you want to reach, you'll determine what you want to use. It's fun playing around with them too, so you might want to experiment and just figure out which works best for you. Basically, Vine is 6 seconds, and then it repeats. So I see a lot of young people on there. You can embed it, you can share it on Facebook and other social sites, and I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like here. This is the Washington Post using it, and they're at a fashion show here, and you can just see it's 6 seconds, so it's like basically 2 clips put together of a fashion show. And I did one earlier, I'm not sure if I could find myself on here, but just before class, and it has volume too. I'm not sure what I'm under here. No, that's not it. No. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm under, but go here and look for some more. Let's watch it go destroy some things. Again, just 6 seconds, and basically you're holding it down, you're holding your button and just doing quick clips. And after class I can show you if you want to see it on the phone, like I could do a demonstration, but I don't know what's going on there. Is the volume up on this, Sean?
I want to check. Might be muted in Vine.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, that's fine. So, like I said, a lot of young people on there basically just screwing around. So. All right. On Tout, it's 15 seconds. If you have a paid account, it's 45. That would have to be if you were through a news organization. So most people have 15-second accounts. So it offers, what I find unique about it is it offers interaction. So if you create a video clip, someone can respond to your video clip with a video, and they're strung together. So you could engage your audience that way. You could put something out there, ask them a question, they could respond, someone else could respond to them or that person, and they're all strung together like in a long loop. And then you can embed it, you can link it, you can share it on all your social sites. So you can do everything that you can, that you want to do with a YouTube video or anything else. Here's an example. Let's see if it'll play the volume here.
Well, I'm really kind of hoping that a lot of people show up tonight. We've got some good vendors that have crime prevention focused with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, One Safe Place, as well as...
So what I can do with that, oops, oh, it's gonna make me log in. Okay, basically, there we go. If you click on this sort of return arrow, it'll allow me to share it directly to Facebook. I can share it directly to Twitter, and this would be an audience member. It wouldn't be just me. It would be someone who's watching my video. They could share it to Google+, LinkedIn, Pinterest. They can click on it and get a link, and then put that link on Facebook or Twitter and say, check this video out, or they can embed it on their own blog or website by getting this embed code. If you click here, it's copying it. So Tout's really been promoted by the wrestling community. A lot of wrestlers are on here, so you see a lot of that. But there are news organizations on here as well. I don't know if I click around a little. AP is on here, Fox, Wall Street Journal. We can go to their account, and you can follow them. So it's a social site, so you can follow and like share their videos and comment on them. So here's an example from AP.
It's my honor to announce that the proud men and women of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trade.
If I wanted, I could give it a heart here. I could reply. The reply would be me saying my response to what I thought of this video. And then, like I said, you can share it on any of your social channels or embed it. Okay, so that's Tout. And then we have Instagram, allows 15 seconds as well. You can embed, link, and share on social. And here's an example of what that looks like. Now, Instagram is mostly known for its photos, but it does do video as well. I haven't pre-screened any of these, so hopefully it won't be. Okay, so that's an example. Let's say you're a business owner and you wanted to do some sort of demonstration video. Let's say you owned a restaurant, you wanted your chef to get on there and put together a piece, you know, a cooking demonstration, and then you have, here's their Twitter handle, or you can put your website address or anything else. That would be a way to use it. Let's see what else they have on here. Looks like a lot of art stuff here. Let's see if I put in news, if anything will come up. Oh, okay, this is for, let's see what they have. Oh, that's a photo. And just like any other social site, you can follow, you can, you know, like it through, it's, you give it the heart here. You can comment on it, you can share it. These are all photos here. Let's see what this is. Dash cam videos. So our police department could start using it, putting out their videos. That would be great. Okay, and then we have Twitter videos. This is relatively new. I think it was January or February. Does it sound right, Sean? That Twitter introduced video, and they give you 30 seconds. And you don't want your video really to be more than 90 seconds tops. And a lot of these, they're finding the younger population likes it even shorter. That's why you're seeing 6, 15, and now 30. So those are your choices with these. And I'll just show you some Twitter videos. So you can shoot this right while you're doing a tweet. You'll notice the camera button there. You can press that and it'll give you a video option now. It used to be you could just take a photo, but now there's a little video camera. You click on that and you hold it down as you shoot a video. And these are some videos that are on Twitter using the Twitter app. Let's see what, like I said, just 30 seconds. So.
The man braid. So now you have Jared doing the man braid, and you have men do that at sleepovers.
Okay, there's an example. Let's see, here's another. Here's another one. Oh, no, it's a YouTube one. Sorry about that.
You want a Kit Kat with your break?
Anyway, it's cool that you can be out at an event and shoot video. Let's say I was at the Bark Wine and Brew event, and I was shooting some video of what was going on and tweeting it out right from there. You could do that, you know, at an athletic event or a festival or anything like that. And people can respond with a tweet. They can retweet it, so it's that social experience. It's getting video out there. Okay, so it could be embedded and linked to. It's not as easily shared on other social platforms. You can easily share it on Twitter. You want to shoot vertical with that one. You need a a video downloader app to save to your camera roll. So a lot of these, I would recommend, like you could shoot your video in your native camera app and then upload it to Twitter. Twitter will allow you then to trim it to 30 seconds. That way you still have the video. If you shoot your video in the Twitter app, it'll limit it to 30 seconds, and then you don't have it on your native camera, and you can't share it on YouTube or anywhere else. It's on Twitter. So unless you get this downloader. So it makes it a little more complicated. So like I said, I'd recommend shooting it first on your native camera and then uploading to Twitter. And if you went over 30 seconds, you just trim it. It allows you to trim it right there. Okay, so my favorite new app for video is called Videolicious. And this is what I've been using to shoot our Buzz on the Street promos. So you can shoot, edit, and publish short videos. And I'll give you an example if you haven't seen it yet.
Hello, I am technology that helps you build a portfolio, manage it, and rebalance it. I am compatible with all types of investors, so I hope you're not the jealous type. Say hello at intelligent.schwab.com.
Okay, that was an ad.
Hi, this is David Benda, Record Searchlight business reporter. So what's the buzz this week? Hey, I'm holding up here an article from 1984 in the Record Searchlight. It talked about the once booming ice cream business in Reading. There were no less than some dozen shops here in Reading back in the 80s. We're down to 3. What happened? Why isn't Reading screaming for ice cream anymore? Hey, keeping in the food theme, we're going to talk about Mosley Family Cellars. A few months ago, they made the move from downtown to an industrial park in North Reading. Some question whether that was a wise move. Well, it's paying off. And speaking of the city of Reading, do you folks watch the Ray Donovan show on Showtime? Apparently, Reading was mentioned in a recent episode, and we'll talk about that. For more, read The Buzz Sunday or check it out online Saturday. Thank you.
Okay, so if you notice that we combine photos along with video, so it's a cool option that you have with Videolicious. And after class, I can demonstrate for you how it's done. But basically, in the app, you have your photos in your native camera, and then you line them up in the order you want them to appear in your shot, and then you can shoot your video along, and then you tap on the photo, and we'll insert where you tap. So you can tap in a photo, it'll go as long as you want. If you want to tap your video back on, he'll start talking again. You can tap another photo and go back and forth until you're done with all your photos. And it just inserts them, assembles it, and it then allows you to add music. So recently started adding music to it as well. It has a free library. Again, it's all in the app. You don't have to go somewhere else to get it. It's all there for you, and you just click on everything. Oops. Okay. So you can make a narrative photo essay with voiceover and then add theme music. You can create a broadcast style video blending interviews, B-roll, and photos. And then they do advise to keep it 60 to 90 seconds. Their free account is only 1 minute anyway. And then it's simple to use. There's really only 4 steps, and they walk you through it. They'll say, step 1, do this, press here. Step 2. So it's very simple. And you can use it on your iPhone or an Android, and then you can share it easily to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Like I said, free accounts are you can create a 1 minute video, and it will store 20 of those videos. Now, since I don't have a free account, I have one through our business. I'm not sure, Sean. Do you know if it stores 20 videos? Does that mean really you're going to get the boot after 20 videos, or can you delete those videos from your account and then is it only storing 20 videos?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
That I don't know the answer to.
Well, you can experiment with that. If you get to 20 videos and you want to create more, but it's stopping you, I would try deleting a few and storing them somewhere else, like uploading them to YouTube and store them there. Or you could store them in Google Photos in the cloud. So a business account is $60 to $120 a year. But I think you get the job done with the free account as long as you can store more videos. And then an external microphone is recommended. Like Sean talked about, we were using the one that you can just pin on, and it has a receiver. Okay. Any questions about those video formats there? Those video platforms?
Oh, I do have one.
Okay, sure.
Those apps, they can be used for iPhone or Android, but do you know about Kindle?
I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, if I find out, I'll tell you.
Okay, yeah, let me know. All right. And these are all free, too. All right, so YouTube is a video sharing platform with social engagement component. So there are discussion groups formed around it. People can comment on your videos. They can give it a thumbs up or down. And that's the case on Instagram and Tout and some of those as well. It's sharing enabled. You can link to it. You can embed. And like I said, share on a number of different social channels, including Pinterest, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Reddit. And it has great SEO value because it's affiliated with Google. So if you put an ad or a video up, for instance, I put one up, you have to consider when you title your videos, you want to title it thinking about search engine optimization, which means that you want to put in terms that people will search for. So I have an example here. Let me see here. If I go into my YouTube account. And the Record Searchlight, it has its own channel. I've got my own channel here. So I created this video.
My name is James Walsh. I live in...
That's not the right one. You did that for a class. I did another one. Jim had a stroke. And so I wrote, stroke can happen to anyone, Jim Walsh's story. So I was keeping SEO in mind. So people look searching on YouTube or just on a Google search and put in stroke, I made sure I had stroke there. So what I did is after I created this video, using one of the platforms that Sean will discuss in a minute, I used iMovie, then I uploaded it to YouTube.
And when was that called?
And as you can see, I used iMovie. I was able to put in titles and incorporate photos and video.
Move your right side.
I also incorporated audio that I had taken. I just captured audio on my phone in the memos, using memos.
And things are spinning or just dizziness?
And as Sean said, you're not supposed to shoot video this way, but I was kind of doing it on the fly. He didn't know I was doing it. I didn't want to be obvious, so. But you see how it looks. See how different it is. It posts it like that.
So Fiber has dealt with stroke patients?
Oh, many times. I've sent many stroke patients to Viber, and they've done very well. But I have to say that James is a pretty special case.
Oh my God.
Well, because we just don't see many people present with the kind of issues.
So as you can see, you can use video to tell a story. You can use it to promote your business. There's so many different ways you can incorporate video.
For 12 years, I've seen hundreds of stroke patients, and I've never encountered anybody who has the same issue as James. So that's
the issue being because of the dissection as well?
Yes. And the total occlusion of the one artery, and what it has caused with the vertigo, and
that gives you an idea. It's a happy ending, so. Okay. And then there's Vimeo. That's another platform where you can upload video. Now YouTube is more widely known and more popular. It has more users on there, so you're gonna, and like I said, it's affiliated with Google, so you're gonna it's gonna play better on there. I think you're gonna get more people seeing your content. Vimeo though, I just did a little research. I opened an account and I saw that a lot of professionals are on there, real estate agents, business owners, so you can consider that as well. They have free accounts and then they have business accounts. So Vimeo allows you to password protect your videos. So let's say I wanted to do this workshop, videotape it, and then charge people maybe to see it. So I could do that as a business owner where I will give them the credentials to log in, the password protected access, and then I could charge them to see it. It's ad free and the video quality is considered excellent. You can customize and brand your player as well. You can customize your URL. They offer a video school. I'll just click on that real quick, where you can receive different instructions on different things you want to do. Camera settings, clarified shutter speed. So kind of like what we're doing here, you can get these tutorials in their video school, and that's free access to everybody. I found the upload to be extremely slow though. I think it took me in YouTube to process that video maybe 5 minutes, and here it took me 15 to 20, so it took a lot longer. And then the SEO value compared to Google isn't as great, and you have a smaller audience than you would find on YouTube. If this PowerPoint is online, if you haven't seen it, I put it in Meetup so you can access it. It's also on reading.com. And then I have some links to some articles where it compares Vimeo to YouTube if you want to take the time to read that. If you're really trying to decide whether to use Vimeo or YouTube, maybe check these articles out and make that decision. Maybe check them both out. You can set up free accounts. So they're mostly, they're similar, and you would just hit an upload button. Very simple to do. Once you've created your video, you've edited it using some program which Sean's going to go over, but like I said, I use iMovie. Once you've used iMovie, it will allow you to download it to the desktop of your computer and then upload it. So you would just kind of upload it like you would do a photo or anything else, and then it's going to put it in there. It takes 5 or 10 minutes, and you're going to put in a headline and then some caption information, and then you go from there. Okay, any questions on YouTube and Vimeo? So you understand it. It houses your videos. They can be kept there, and then it gives you unique URLs which you can share on social sites. And it's you can store longer videos here or shorter ones. You could shoot, like I mentioned before, on any of these platforms. Then you could upload these short videos to YouTube if you wanted. It's your choice, or you could shoot on your camera and then upload a longer video, edit it, and then upload a longer video to YouTube or Vimeo. Where am I now? Okay. All right. So Periscope. This is something new that I've been using lately. There's also, what's the other one called, Sean? Meerkat. But Periscope's really taken off because it's connected with Twitter. So this allows us to live stream. So if you're at an event and you just want to go live instantly, like I said, a festival or an event, you would download the app Periscope on your phone, and it would ask you to put a headline or describe what it is, and then you just press a button and you're live. And it's connected to Twitter, so as soon as you go live, a tweet will go out and from your Twitter account, and it'll let people know that you're live streaming this event, whatever title you gave it. So people can watch it instantly, or it will be saved for 24 hours, so they could see it later in their Twitter feed and click on it and watch it. Again, I would recommend saving it to your camera roll so you can use it later. So you can then upload it from your camera roll to YouTube or Vimeo for later, if that's something you want to do. Maybe you're just living in the moment and you just want it for that 24 hours, that's fine. But if you want to save it, you need to, in your settings, make sure that you select Save to Camera Roll. So you can choose whether to make your live stream private or public, and whether to save it to your camera roll or for use later. The link to your live video is good for only 24 hours, as I said, but if you save it to your camera roll, you can upload it to other places like Facebook and YouTube. You'll have better reach if your use is publicized in advance. So for example, I was covering an event for the Record Searchlight, and so I made sure I got out on Twitter and Facebook earlier and said, hey, I'm going to be using Periscope at this time on this date, check it out. But you won't have a link yet, so it's not like you can share the link and they can click on it whenever that time comes. So just give them some advance notice, and then once it launches, you can share that link that Periscope has assigned to it. Okay, and then you're going to hold, you can hold the camera either vertically or horizontally when filming live. Now this changed, it used to be just vertically, but they just recently made it so it could be horizontally, which is good. Okay, some features of Periscope. Viewers can send hearts to the broadcaster by tapping on the mobile screen as a form of appreciation. So when you're watching, and I'll show you one in a minute, you'll see all these hearts coming up, and that's people just tapping on the screen, showing that they like what's being shown. You can view a list, or as the person on Periscope, you can see who's watching. So it's usually your Twitter followers, so you'll see a list of your Twitter followers that will let you know which ones are watching. And as a fellow watcher, you can see who else is watching. It features a map of where the watchers are located, so that's kind of interesting. You can make your live stream private or public, as I mentioned earlier. Watchers have the ability to share on Twitter with all followers, specific followers on Facebook, or copy a link. So these are their choices. So that I thought that was a cool feature that they could just do all their followers or only specific. Like, okay, I'm broadcasting, but I only think fellow journalists are going to be interested in this broadcast, and then I can share with them. People can comment. So you'll see some comments popping up on the side of the video as it's going live, and you'll see people commenting and asking questions or just, you know, regular commentary. So it's interactive and it's social. And then you can report a broadcast that might break their terms of use as well. So that's good to know. And I think where's the link? Here we go. I was going to show you an example of some people live right now on Periscope. So if you're on Twitter, you could just put in hashtag Periscope, and it will come up, a bunch of people who are live on Periscope right now. So let me see if there's something on here that looks safe. I don't know. Kind of scared to click on something right now. I don't know. All right, I'm just gonna click on something. Don't be mad at me if it's. Go back up here. All right. I really am scared.
You should be.
All right, let's just see what day for. All right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What is Portia doing? So it looks like they're looking at their planner and playing some music. Yeah, I have to be on my phone to do it. So, yeah, it could be anything out there. So that's how you find it. So if you want to see more examples, you can just go on Twitter and then hashtag Periscope and look at safety of your own home. And they have this website, but it's really useless. You really have to have the app on your phone because it's all done on mobile, so this really doesn't do anything. If you want to read about it or read their blog, you can go here. It's just periscope.tv. All right, so we covered that. Ustream. Okay, Ustream is what we're using right now to share with the Reading.com audience this workshop online. So we're streaming live with that iPad right there, and you can just set up an account at Ustream. I think it's Ustream TV, but we'll go there. It allows live streaming video platform. You share a link on social. You can embed it, which we've done on our website, in a player on your site. You can download it later. So later, I'm going to download it'll show up in Ustream. I'm going to see my video. I'm going to download it to my desktop on my computer, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And I want to do that because Ustream is going to delete that video within 30 days unless I pay them to have a professional account. So if you want to just, within 30 days, download it and upload it to your free YouTube, you can do that. Let's see. Yeah, because they're going to charge you for storage. And then there's a smartphone. We have an app on our other device right there. And let me go there just so you can see what it looks like. So it's really easy to use. Let me see if I can log in. I remember credentials. I've got like 3 of them, so. Okay, so I've logged in. This is something I used when I was with the Southeast Michigan Media Lab. This was my account. But you have a dashboard here, and we'll have events, video, security, off-air, chat. It has all these different functions. It'll tell you your metrics. You can watch that. It gives you an embed code. If I clicked here, I could get an embed code for the player. So what that means is basically the embed code for Ustream, it's always the same. So you could basically copy it once and use it because it's always showing the most recent live video. So it's always the same. But this is where you get your embed code, and you would just say create a code. Oh, it's over here. Let's see, I just want a player. Why is it giving my, oh, here's the code down here. Okay, so I would just copy that, and that's what I would use to embed in my, it's an iframe code in on my blog or website or whatever, and people can watch you live if you're doing a workshop like we're doing today, or if you're at an event and you're live streaming it on your iPhone. And then just to go live, it's as simple as just hitting this button, go live. It's always going to want to see if you want to upgrade or remain basic. You can have several different channels. So I had one that was just me. That when I came to Reading, I still had this account. I thought, well, I'll just add myself to it. I had one for the Media Lab on there, and then I had this private channel, which was just for our newspapers in Michigan. So that people had to have a link to view the video, and that's when we did some workshops internally and that kind of thing. So you can set up a private channel. So if I choose this channel and I just hit my settings here and I allow it to access the mic and all that, I can adjust the quality and volume. I can allow, and then I'm not sure if this even has a camera, but it might not. That's why it's not letting me. But yeah, it says audio only because I don't have a camera on here. But if you had a camera on your computer, you would just hit start broadcast, and you're going to want to record it as well, so you'll have it for later. If you just hit start broadcast, it's only going to do it live, and you're not going to have a recording of it. So, Sean, you use Ustream a lot. Is there anything you want to add about it? You can set up a tweet and have that automatically go out, or go to Facebook.
Unless you're actually wanting to do a complicated camera setup or record yourself speaking into your webcam, I would recommend using one of the apps.
Yeah. Okay.
You mean one of the Videolicious or something like that?
No, you can download Ustream app for your smartphone,
okay.
and then your smartphone camera will be the camera that broadcasts out.
It's much more simple than this, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what this is doing is basically just doing live videos if Michelle were sitting in front of her computer and just wanted to talk straight into her webcam.
Yeah, so for example, when Leon Evans came here to speak in Reading about mental health issues, we really wanted to get some video out about him ahead of time so people would see what kind of speaker he was and what he'd be talking about. And he was in Texas, so I had to figure out, well, how am I going to get this guy in Texas to get me video? So I just gave him access to this Ustream account, and I said, sit in front of your computer and here are some questions, answer these questions. So that's what he did, and then I got into the account and I downloaded his video and then I shared it on Facebook. So that was kind of a way to get around that. Okay. All right, Snapchat. Now I'm not that familiar with it, but I guess this is what all the kids are using. I kind of experimented with it so I could talk about it a little bit. So it's a video messaging mobile application, and some businesses are using it to send out like discounts, promotions, that kind of thing. Like, because it's a very temporary thing, like they could give an access code, and if you go right now and make this purchase using this code, then you get this discount. That's how I've seen it used by marketing people. So users can take photos, they can record videos, add text and drawings, and send them to a controlled list of recipients. Users set a time limit of 1 to 10 seconds for how long the recipient can view their snap, and then it's gone. So, like for example, right before this class, I took a photo of the classroom, and then with my finger, I just wrote on it, showtime, and then I sent the snap to my editor and managing editor, and that's about the extent I know how to use it. But you can use it for chat, so a snap, a photo or video, add a caption, and send it to a friend on Snapchat. You can chat face-to-face, so it's a video messaging like FaceTime or Skype that you're probably more familiar with. And then you can create stories. So you add a snap, which is a photo or video, on Snapchat for a stream of longer form video with messages strung together. These stories are simultaneously shared with the user's friends, and content remains for 24 hours before disappearing. My story features was expanded to allow for creation of crowdsourced montages that would be broadcast to all Snapchat users, now called Our Story. So if you want to learn more about Snapchat, you can just Google it or download it and play around with it. Here's their website. I don't know if it does much. They have a blog, so you'll find information on their blog. They have support. Like I said, I just started experimenting with it, so I don't know a lot, but I know that it's used by a younger demographic. Do you know much more than me, Sean?
It's younger than I am.
Right. So here's just an example I did. Again, I snapped a picture in the newsroom. You can put titles or captions. I just wrote managing the newsroom. It's our managing editor talking to one of our reporters. And then my little comment, just do it. Okay. Another tool you can use is called Animoto. I know it's used in education a lot. A lot of teachers are using this. I just, again, experimented with it a little bit, and I'll show you my example. But you can choose from a number of video styles. This is really for someone who it's very basic, and it's going to give everything to you. Like pick a theme, pick a song, and it's just all very simple. It can be used for any occasion. If you want to send a birthday message or a card, something like that, a business video. You can add photos, video clips, and music. You upload your pictures from your website, your camera, or some photo storage source. Select music, add text to round out your video. Then you produce it and share it. You embed the video on your website. You can post it on social media or send it through email. You can even download it and burn it to a DVD. I don't know who does that anymore, but and then here you can share it, as you can see, Facebook, Twitter. You can get a link to it. You can put it on YouTube. You can embed it. And then some options, you're able to edit your video. You can upgrade it to HD. I'm sure they're going to charge you for that. Then download it. You're going to want to download it in order to share it other places. So I have an example here of one I created just for this class. And they do this obnoxious thing where they put like trial. You'll see it. Say trial. But this took like 2 minutes to put together. It's very short. It was 1 minute, and you're kind of limited in what you can do, but hey, it's a fun promotional video I can put out there and made it for free. All right. So any questions on Animoto?
Michelle?
Yeah.
Are they providing the music to their own licensing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Same with Videolicious as well.
And I didn't see on there, is there a time limit on that?
It was like 1 minute, and they count the number of slides you're able to use too. It's limited on the number of slides and the time.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah. So yeah, on these platforms it can be limited. If you create your own video, and upload it to YouTube, it could be hours long if you wanted it to be. But on these programs, they're aimed at short videos. Okay, so I think Sean is up. Sean's going to talk about video editing.
So if you shot a video and don't immediately send it up to Twitter or Facebook or another social channel, you're going to want to do something with it. You're going to want to make it look nice. That's where video editing come in. So video editing, you take the time, you can make a raw clip that you shoot look like a very nice, professionally produced final product. So a couple tools. If you have a Windows computer, most of your video editing is going to be done at a computer or a tablet or some type of smart device. If you're on Windows, one of your options is Windows Movie Maker. It's free. It's not supported in Windows 10, which is the new version that just came out, but you can still download it. We don't quite have time for the demo video, but it's linked in the slide deck. I suggest you watch it if you're thinking about Windows Movie Maker. And we actually have a sample video.
Downtown City Plaza, hundreds of students are joining the march from Chico State campus to protest budget cuts, furlough days, and further cuts in education. These students all gathered today, March 10th, for an action rally for Chico State.
We're here at the City Plaza rallying because we're not taking Sammy's bullcrap anymore. We don't think he's representing us correctly, so we're here to do it ourselves. Our education. The message that we tried to push forward today is that students are the voice of California. We are the future of California, and we are the constituency of California. We deserve fully funded CSU, and we deserve to have as much funding as other sectors of California are having.
So you get the idea. That was a rally at Chico State back in 2010. They were protesting some budget cuts. So I shot that video on a little camera, and I went back and edited it with Windows Movie Maker. You can add titles to the very beginning of the video. You can add title cards for speakers. You can add transitions. It's pretty full-featured and it's easy to use. But if you try it and don't like it, there are some other programs. They're not all free though. Magic's Movie Edit Pro. If you've ever watched a video on Reading.com or on YouTube.com/ReadingNews, which is the Record Searchlight's YouTube channel, almost every one of those videos is edited with Magic's Movie Edit Pro. Usually costs about $95. They're always running sales though, so you can get it for half price or even less. What's nice about this is it's really full-featured and it accommodates pretty much any skill level. So if you're just starting, or if you want to do something more advanced, Magic's has all of those features. Another program you can try is called Lightworks. And again, if you want to learn more, open the slide deck. They're all linked up. There's a free and a paid pro version. I haven't played around with it too much, but it's another option for Windows users. If you really want to go fancy, you can go with Adobe Premiere, which is a very high-level, sophisticated video editor. That one's going to cost you a lot, though. You used to be able to just buy the program outright, but now Adobe wants you to pay quite a bit a month to use it. I've also linked up some free video editing, an article about free video editing software that's fairly recent, so you may be able to find something there. Really, with a video editor, it's going to be what works for you, what you can produce a good video with. But again, Windows Movie Maker, it's a pretty good solution. Now, if you have a Mac, they make things a lot easier. If you have a recent Mac or recent version of the software for Macs, you get iMovie. iMovie is free. It's really powerful. We saw the video Michelle shot earlier. You can do basically any type of video you want. Lots of people use iMovie, but again, it's limited to Macs. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can get iMovie for free as well. It's more limited than what you can get on the actual full computer version of it. But it's very powerful, very full-featured. And again, there's another tutorial there. We won't go through it because of time limits. You do have another couple options if you're on Macs. You can go with Adobe Premiere again. You're looking at the monthly fee. There's also Final Cut Pro, which is a very, very powerful program, even more than iMovie. Yeah, lots of professional videographers use Final Cut Pro to edit their videos, but again, it's costly. So when you're actually editing, a couple tips for you. Use title cards to identify speakers, introduce your video, or close your video. I'll show you some examples of those. But if you want a title card, you want something that doesn't take up the full screen. If you're identifying someone who's talking, that is. Transitions, it's kind of jarring to jump from one scene of video to something else. So consider using a crossfade, and that's one clip of video fades out as the other fades in. It's a nice effect. You'll see it in the examples we have. You can also insert photos into your video. So if you're playing a video that is just someone talking, you can just overlay photos on top of that video. The person will keep talking. Depends on what you want to use it for. When you're editing and shooting video, think about A-roll versus B-roll. A-roll is your footage that will contain someone speaking or the main video you want to focus on. So if you're interviewing someone, if you're at a press conference, that's going to be the backbone of your video. B-roll is pretty much everything else. In news video, those are shots of the scene, whereas A-roll would be, let's go back to the example of being at a fire. A-roll would be the fire investigator or firefighter telling you what's happening. B-roll would be you actually showing what's happening. When you shoot video, excuse me, when you shoot B-roll footage, aim for 10 seconds minimum per shot. You don't need to include that length in your final product. You should probably be about 5 seconds or more, but at least aim to get 10 seconds per clip of B-roll. Again, A-roll forms the backbone of the video, while B-roll fills out the narrative. So, let's watch some videos. So this one is just a simple shot of the scene of something happening. This was a shooting not too long ago. This is the follow-up investigation. A reporter was out there just getting video of what was there to be seen.
And they're using their smartphone, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's Jim. So a video can be simple as just that, right?
Yeah.
Just whatever you witness. Or it can be fancier with.
Here's an interview.
I was in my bedroom having lunch and I heard, someone stomping upstairs above me, and I thought someone was arguing. I didn't know what was going on, and I walk out into my hallway where my furnace is, and I see smoke pouring out. And I immediately rush outside, and there's a young boy who lives upstairs. Well, he's not young, he's probably 19, comes downstairs yelling, "Help me, help me!" And when I see him, his hands are bloody, the skin is peeled back, his hair has been singed from the fire, his face, and I immediately call 911, and I come out to the windows and I see flames just coming out, and I yelled to my boyfriend to get our small child out of the house. And the manager and the maintenance guy got the fire hoses and started putting the fire out. And then shortly after that, paramedics and the fire truck showed up. When I came out here, I did. I heard
Sean, you want to speak to that sort of transition that we saw?
The flames started, the windows
talking about
broke.
something and then
And
get back to it.
The manager and the maintenance guy got the fire hoses and started putting the fire out. And then shortly after that, paramedics and the fire truck showed up. When I came out here,
so it was subtle, but
I heard pops and.
The first clip of her speaking faded out really quick, and the second one faded in really quick. In this example, it was a little tough to see. I've got some other ones though. That's the kind of transition you might consider using. Don't go too fancy with your transitions though, because the more fancy you get, the more it's going to detract from your video, from the actual content of your video. So, here's another one. This was a recent plane crash.
All right, the information as we have it, which came from the pilot directly, is that he landed...
So, here's the crossfade I was talking about. You can see it a bit more with this one.
And that's B-roll.
All right, the information as we have it, which came from the pilot directly, is that he landed on runway 15 and had a little too much speed and ended up going off the end of the runway. And then, as you can see where he's ended up. Well, in essence, just consider it the same as it would be if it were a car crash. Essentially, you've got a damaged vehicle whether it's on a road or whether it's here. It's somewhere that it's not intended to be, so it's working with them. But essentially, we notify the National Transportation Safety Board, and then they give us permission that they're satisfied with the information they have to this point, so they're willing to allow the aircraft to be moved. And as soon as that happens, then it's usually an insurance thing, same as it would be on a car on the roadside. We're happy that both appear to have gotten out of it as well as they did.
So, number of things going on with that. You saw at the beginning we had the little bars come across the bottom of the screen that introduce both the video and the speaker. Those are the kind of title cards you would consider using. And right here, we use a standard ed credit on our videos. Just tells you, who was involved in making the video. Kind of saw as we got to the photo portion that one photo just kind of faded into the next. That's that crossfade I was talking about. You saw A-roll and B-roll. A-roll was the interview. B-roll was that little clip at the beginning that just shows people around the down plane. And in this case, the photos acted as B-roll too. You also heard something, which was that kind of thudding sounds. I had a microphone on this guy when I shot this video, but it was very windy that day. So even if you have a windscreen on your microphone, wind is always going to be a challenge. So another type is just a simple on-camera interview.
I've had it with my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. The frustration,
and this is one you're shot
covering
using
up.
Videolicious,
So
right?
I talked with my doctor.
not
He
sure which one it
prescribed
is.
It's the one of Amber?
Emberl
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah.
clinically proven to provide clearer skin. Many people saw 70.
There we go. So yeah, this is Videolicious again.
Hi, this is Amber Sandu. I'm with the Record Searchlight, and I'm here with Summer Chappelle. She is a contestant on The Voice, and she's been doing quite well. Summer, what's this been like for you?
Oh my gosh. First of all, being from Reading, I don't think anybody would think something like this would happen, especially me. I didn't think this would ever happen, but it's been so crazy and so awesome. I'm beyond excited and so thankful for community support.
So what have your grandparents been thinking about this so far?
My grandparents, they have always been my #1 supporters, and for them to be able to see me not only live out my dream and do something I love, but something that they've been so involved in, I think.
So you might notice the
not only
smartphone
rewarding
keeps
for
sort of
me,
focusing
but it is
in
for
and
them as
focusing
well.
out. I think it's focusing
So
on the
you
white
chose
on the
Strawberry
microphone.
Wine as your
So that's
song.
why you kind of see
Can
it
you tell us a
coming
little
out.
bit why you chose it?
Yeah,
And Videolicious isn't as polished because it's
practice
just on a
often at the
smartphone,
club
and then
Klondike
I'm just
up in
uploading
Lakehead.
it
And
directly and putting it on Facebook.
somebody had
Oh, wow.
requested me to sing that song, and I would never do it until one day I actually did it, and I fell in love with it. And I always say that this song brings out some type of emotion and some certain point in your life, and it's so relatable and so emotional for people. And I think that's the #1 reason why I picked this song.
So what comes next?
So from the blind auditions, next comes the battle rounds, and that's when you have to battle somebody on your team with the same song. So we're singing together, but it's so much fun, but it's so sad because you love the people you sing against, so it's hard.
I'm sure you'll do well.
Thank you.
So we'll wrap it up. All right, and check out my story on running.com. This is Amber Sandu with the Record Searchlight.
So, you can see there what you can do with things like that. We used, as you saw, we used the external microphone. You could notice the sound difference right there at the beginning when she first pulls the microphone away from herself, drops out a bit, sounds a bit more hollow. So that's why you'd want an external microphone. And if you're a David Benda fan,
Record Searchlight newspaper. Hey, there's been a lot of talk about the economy this past week. There's been some economic and civic pride chest pumping going on with the groundbreaking of Turtle Bay's Sheraton Hotel and the State of the City address. So I'm standing here at the entrance of Stillwater Business Park, which when it was conceived more than 15 years ago, a lot of people in the area looked at Stillwater as an economic cure-all. I'm going to catch up with a former Reading City Councilman, Mike Polmeyer, and see what he thinks about the recent signing of Stillwater's first tenant and the future of the business park. We'll also give you an update on the CEO search for the Greater Rhetoric Chamber of Commerce. For those and other stories, check out the Buzz on the Street online Saturday and in the paper Sunday. And as always, thanks for reading.
So when I was filming that, I just filmed him, and then on my camera roll, I had a photo of his Buzz on the Street column, and then I added that at the end. If I had photos of some of the people he referred to, I could have added them while he was talking as well.
Was that on Videolicious also?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good example of using a video to promote something or supplement another piece of work, in this case, David Benda's weekly column. And you could hear some music playing in the background too. That was straight from Videolicious as well. So one more, and we won't watch the whole thing, but I suggest you do. This is a documentary our sports crew, it's a short documentary produced a couple of years ago on the Enterprise High School football team and their road they went to state that year.
How did you get all that? Is that part of
It's a surreal experience.
So that title card you saw at the beginning, that's an animation you have to make in Magix. That is beyond my skill capacity, so we had our the other person in my department who is more artistic do that. But stuff like that can be done.
And it was done
Well, for me,
Magix.
Yes, Magix Movie Edit Pro.
And a firework looking thing was done in there also?
I believe so.
personally, to win and go out as a senior with that NorCal championship, but it was an atmosphere like nothing I've ever experienced.
Deep rooted in the mind of every high school football player is a chance to play for a state championship. Those dreams for the 2013 Enterprise High School football team became reality. It was never easy for the Hornets, from doubters to injuries to playing the waiting game just to be selected for a state regional bowl game weighed on them. But it made the triumph of hoisting a Northern California championship that much sweeter. With that accomplishment, Enterprise rallied not only Reading and the surrounding communities, but a region in NorCal that is often disrespected by the rest of the state.
NorCal's was something that you don't get to experience very often. It was fans right on top of you, probably 15 feet
So Sean,
from
you had TJ
your sideline to their
like
stand.
Yeah. So we won't watch the whole thing, but I suggest you do. It's a very good documentary. It's award-winning as well. It's only about 12 minutes long. They did win a very prestigious award for that documentary. So yeah, you heard voiceover there. When you do that, all you really need to do is, if your computer has a built-in microphone, you can just talk into your computer. After you recorded the video, you can write a script beforehand, practice it, make sure it's polished. Or if you want, you can plug another microphone into your computer and do that. This was I believe a football season long project, so you saw a lot of photos, a lot of different video clips in there. They compiled all that stuff, and we're working on this for the whole season. So it's a really good documentary. It shows a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, and a lot of what you can do with a video editing program. What are your questions?
Does anyone feel confident moving forward, like to pick a platform? And you do? Okay.
This is great, thank you.
Okay. All right, if you want.
Yeah, about Videolicious and Animoto, you said those come with music that you can use for free with them. If you own your own music, can you plug it in using those things, or do you have to use different platforms if you want to add your own music to back up video?
That is a good question.
I've never done that before.
We'll, yeah, we can find out really quick.
So I can show you how simple this Videolicious is to do. So step one, you choose your shots. This is when you go to camera roll, and then you can select any photos on here. save, and then you go to the next step, which is tell your story. So you just put it yourself. Here's a countdown. Hey, we're at 5:30 Media Project learning about video. Okay, so here's your video. Hit save. You can preview it if you want. Okay, here's where you add music. So choose your music. So I don't see an area where it says, upload your own.
Right.
Oh yeah, actually, when I went to albums, it went to the albums that I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these
So
are my
you could
albums
have- yeah.
on my phone.
And if you made your own album, you could have it in there.
Yeah, so let's see if I picked Taylor Swift.
Hey, we're at 5:30 Media Project learning about video.
You can adjust it.
Hey, we're at 5:30 Media Project learning about video. Hey, we're at 5:30 Media Project learning about video.
And is that your own camera roll, but you're using the app to access it?
Yes. Okay.
You're probably up against licensing issues when you take
Yeah,
someone else's
it's-
music though.
exactly.
Right. I think you get a certain amount. You probably have to Google it, but I think you can do so many seconds and get away with it. Not
Sort
very
of
many.
like in copyright for novels, you can use like some words or something like that
Yeah.
before you get hit with it.
Okay. So, any other questions? All right.
Great.
All right. Sean and I are available if because we still have 15 minutes left. If anyone has questions or you want us to demonstrate on our phone, Vine or Instagram or Videolicious or any of that, so just approach us and we'll hang around for 15 minutes. Otherwise, if you can fill out this form, my boss wants to know if we're doing a good job here. Fill that out, appreciate it. And then we have some takeaways if you want them. You can take them with you. And otherwise, thanks for coming, and I hope to see you at a future 5:30 Media Project workshop.
Thank you. So, you can also, once this opens,